everyone, and welcome you all in today's MSVU MSM Agent E-Summit 2020 live. I see a lot of attendees on the process of joining in. We all are going through this unprecedented time. I'm hoping that all of you are safe and healthy. A very good evening and a good morning, ladies and gentlemen, from wherever you are joining and attending this webinar. I would like to thank all of you for taking out time and being here today with us. I'm Grishma Ambani, Marketing Manager at MSVU at MSM, and I'll be your monitor for today's webinar. I'm delighted and pleased to introduce today's presenter, Ashley Jain, International Business Development Consultant, MSVU. Before I hand over to Ashley, I will run through the housekeeping requirements that are needed for today's presentation on Zoom webinar platform. So today you will be hearing a comprehensive presentation on Mount St. Vincent University by Ashley. We are taking questions during the webinar and would request all of you to drop in your queries in Q&A section present in control panel below. The questions will be answered either during the presentation or at end during Q&A session. Please feel free to ask all your queries while the presentation is in the process. So without further ado, let's start the wonderful session by welcoming our presenter, Ashley. So over to you, Ashley.
Thank you so much, Grishma, and good evening and good afternoon or good morning to all of you, and thank you so much for spending your time with me today. My name is Ashley Jain, and I am a proud member of the Mount St. Vincent University recruitment team. I'm going to give you a little bit of background about myself, and then I'm going to go right into the presentation. There's a lot of information that we are going to cover today, and I would be more than happy to answer your questions at the end of the presentation. So a very quick housekeeping item. I have been working from home since March, and this is week number 26 working from home. And of course, working from home comes with its challenges. So for instance, if you hear a very weird, strange, odd sound coming from my side, it's because the building which I live in today, they're going through a fire alarm testing system. And so in the event that this happens, my colleague Grishma is more than happy to jump in and continue the presentation on my behalf. So I do apologize if that happens today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, welcome. And my name is Ashley Jain, and I am originally from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and I actually moved to Canada when I was 18 to start studies. So I decided to do a bachelor's degree in public relations at Mount St. Vincent University, and that's what has brought me here today. And so I'll go through a little bit of the information of the institution, but also give you a little bit about my experiences as well. So let's begin. I would like to start off with a video. It's really hard to listen and just try and digest information without seeing what the campus looks like. So I just wanted to give you a feel of what Mount St. Vincent University looks like, in my opinion, and maybe I'm a little bit biased, but it is one of the most beautiful campuses in Canada. So let's begin with a quick video. All right, and there you have it, a little bit of a drone footage of my beautiful campus. It is 40 acres in size, and we are all located, our buildings are all located in just one area. So unlike other campuses where you have to go from one side of the city to the other to access classes or different campuses, ours is all located in one area. So some really quick information, Mount St. Vincent University is very old. We are a public institution on the Atlantic coast of Canada. We are a smaller size school, mainly focusing on undergraduate degrees. We have an average first year class size of about 23. So a great number, especially for professor to student ratios, and providing that very much needed support during learning. We have about 4,300 or 4,300 students from 77 different countries, and we're very proud of our diversity in our classrooms. We offer cutting-edge research, and I'll talk about that a little bit later, but some of our research encompasses Alzheimer's research, as well as the opportunity to offer work experiences in all of our undergraduate programs, which I will touch on a little bit later as well. All right, so first and foremost, where is Mount St. Vincent University? So MSVU, as I like to call it, is in Halifax, and Halifax is the capital city of Nova Scotia. As you can see on the map, we're right on the ocean on the right-hand side. You can see that right there on the East Coast. We're about a 2-hour flight from Toronto or about a 2-hour flight from New York. If you cross the Atlantic, you will get to London, and that's about a 6 to 7 hour journey from Halifax, the capital city of Nova Scotia. If you were to travel west from Halifax, it's also about a 6 to 7 hour journey across the nation. So London and Vancouver is the same distance apart. So it's actually closer for me to go to Europe than it would be to another city here in Canada. That's how vast and big Canada is. Some information about the city of Halifax. So there are around 450,000 residents that live in the city. Again, like I said, it is the capital city, so it is the center of opportunity for the Atlantic region when it comes to education, work opportunities, a good lifestyle, and of course, a very friendly community. We're also known as Canada's Smart City, and the reason is because within the city center itself, there are at least 6 different universities, all within 10 minutes drive of each other. So it is a very student-centered hub, but also because of our proximity to the ocean, we also offer a lot of tourism opportunities, which means lots of businesses are developed to cater to the tourism and service industry as well. And of course, it's super safe. I can't stress enough how safe and secure it is to live here. I know coming from a big city of millions of people and then dropped into a smaller size city here in Canada, it was, obviously for any international student, you would receive some sort of culture shock, but it's the kind of culture shock that gives you a better understanding of different countries, but also self-discovery. What I discovered is that the people here are so charming. It's so easy to strike up conversation with strangers. And that's very common here, especially in Nova Scotia. People are extremely friendly and curious. And they love to talk. So I definitely find that part of Halifax very, very charming. Back to life on the hill. We call it life on the hill because Mount St. Vincent University is on a hill. It's only 7 minutes drive outside of the downtown core. And like I said, we're also 10 minutes drive to other universities in the city center. We are a connected campus, and what that means is that it is a physically connected campus. So we have 7 main buildings around our hill, and students don't have to worry about going outside during a rain, if it's windy, if it's cold, if it's snowing. They can just walk all through the different buildings to access their residences, the library, the dining hall, the student center, etc. So they can move about within the campus and go about their student life all inside. We are also super proud of the welcoming community that we have developed at Mount St. Vincent University. Our international student support services are extensive. And I know firsthand what that was like, because I, as an international student coming to Canada for the first time by myself, I was met at the airport and by a staff member. They took me from the airport to my new home away from home and residence. They acquainted me with some senior students who helped me understand how to go about life on campus and around the city as well. Just simple things like where to get your groceries, which is the better supermarket. So, you know, the international student support here is extensive, and even more so now. We just started classes last week. Everything has been moved online since March. And so we're proud to say that we were able to support all of the students that were starting new this year, not just international, but Canadians too. This is their, you know, new Canadian high school students going to university for the first time, having to go through university during such unprecedented times. We were able to roll out at least half a dozen different programming and support services to ensure that our first year class is fully supported. Just a quick overview of residences. As you can see, this is a very, very picturesque, charming, very beautiful residence area. There is 3 styles of residences, but one thing to remember is that all of our residence rooms are single occupancy only. So every student gets to have their own room. At the moment, we are operating at about a 45% capacity. As you can understand, we have to ensure social distancing measures. And so we have a mix of first year, senior, second and third year, mostly Canadians and some international students that are occupying residences right now and taking classes from their residence rooms. In a normal year though, there are spaces for about over 400 different students, and it also comes with a all-you-can-eat meal plan as part of your residence fees. Very quickly, we're super proud of our sports. We have the most national and regional championships in our league. We have 7 different varsity athletics. So if you know someone who can fit into one of these sports and they're a superstar, just let me know. There's a different application process altogether. A little bit more about our international community. I want you to understand how diverse our student body is. We have about 18% of our student population coming from outside of Canada, and that's a significant amount. This year, so 18% is the statistic from last year. This year, I believe it's up to 20% of our student body coming from international countries. And I've listed some of the top 5 countries that come to Mount St. Vincent University, but of course it encompasses everywhere around the world. All right, so earlier in my presentation, I mentioned that we offer work experiences in all of our undergraduate bachelor degree programs, and that is not a lie. We do offer some sort of experiential learning or learning through experiences in our bachelor programs. So it comes in many different forms, okay? Some of them are internships, which can be paid or unpaid. Some of them come in the form of co-op, and co-op is a formal education work program, as you may or may not know, that is paid, and also it is corresponding to your degree as well. And then we have practicum, and practicum is like completing, 450 hours of a work term as part of your degree. So there's different forms of our experiential learning programming. For example, in the Bachelor of Public Relations, the bachelor degree program that I enrolled in, co-op was part of a mandatory component of completing my program and getting my degree. And so in co-op, I had to do 3 different work terms. Each work term was about 4 months in length. So even before I graduated, I already had at least 12 months of work experience under my belt before I got my parchment, my bachelor's degree. And so that really offered me a different insight of implementing the theories that I've learned from the classroom into the workplace, and more realistic learning avenues. And so we try to offer this as well to all of our students. So it doesn't matter what program you're taking. If you're taking political studies, if you're taking history, if you're taking business administration or tourism and hospitality management, the option for a student to learn by doing is always there. Okay, so let's get into the actual majors that we offer at Mount St. Vincent. So this is the undergraduate section, and then I'm going to go into the graduate section after this. So I'm just going to give you an idea of the information I will be covering. Our undergraduate degrees are separated into 3 different study categories. One, the arts, which is like, social sciences and humanities. And then the science, which is, as you can read, bio, chem, math. And then professional studies. So what does it mean, professional studies? Professional studies is our more unique programs that offer some sort of work component that is mandatory as part of the degree. And so there's a lot of experiential learning components in professional studies, but that doesn't mean our arts and sciences don't have these opportunities either. It's just that this is integrated into the part of the program. And then of course we offer some diplomas as well. As you can see, there are two diplomas that are 2 years in length. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of our notable degree programs, and they are all over the map, but our most popular within the arts would be our psychology degree, and then followed by our public policy degree, the only the only degree on the East Coast of Canada that offers public policy. So students who are interested in becoming policymakers, becoming research analysts for the government, developing and doing research in bettering the community that they live in. Public policy is definitely one of those programs that would interest those students. And within the sciences, biology and chemistry are definitely one of those programs that are very popular, especially amongst medical students. But also within these programs, we offer we have a center for research for Alzheimer's here in Canada, and we're one of those leading research institutes to try and develop a method from which all of us in the world can detect Alzheimer's at a very early onset stage before it becomes prevalent, before it shows its effects. And so students who are interested in understanding more about that side of the house, they obviously would enroll in bio and chem, having the opportunity maybe to dive into some of that real world research. And then within professional studies, child and youth studies for any student who is interested in understanding developmental psychology in kids, or the policies that help to socialize children and youth into society, students who want to become teachers or own and manage early childhood education centers. We're the only option in the East Coast of Canada. Comes with an internship as well. Business, of course, is a very popular degree, and we definitely offer a lot of different majors. Students can opt not to do a major. They can just do a general business administration degree. However, if they want to specialize, they have 7 different options. And of course, public relations, we are one of the first and only institutions in Canada that started this as a professional degree. There are only 2 available in Canada, and we are definitely the pioneering institution offering a Bachelor of Public Relations. Applied Human Nutrition, we are one of 16 designated and accredited nutrition degree providers in Canada. Any student who wants to become a registered dietitian or who wants to work in Canada as a clinical dietitian, they must go through a very rigorous program and fulfill many, many different requirements. And so we are one of those designated and accredited institutions. Tourism and hospitality management, we are definitely one of the pioneering institutions as well for this area. And it really lends itself to right from the institution to the work environment, because tourism is such a big part of the economic success of Halifax. And so the opportunities for work are endless within this industry. We are also the first institution to instate this as a bachelor degree here in Canada. And so we're really proud of our offerings in tourism and hospitality management. Moving along to our graduate degrees. So technically, we only have 7 master's degree areas of study. And within those 7 master's degree areas, there are several different majors that they could offer. So I'll give you an example. If you look under master's degree, you can see Master of Education. And under Master of Education, you can see a long list. Those are all different majors that a student could opt to study or enroll in. So starting from the beginning, grad programs, graduate programs, we do offer diplomas, which are 2 years, certificates 1 year, and these are actually new programs. We only started implementing this program this year, and so we will be welcoming our first incoming class next year in 2021. So these are new programs to us. And then, of course, our master's degrees are also 2 years. Some students take 2.5 years to complete it, but it's in all of our more unique programs: nutrition, communications, public relations, education, and so on and so forth. And then we offer 1 doctorate degree, a PhD in educational studies. Okay, so there was a lot of information to take in. I'm going to try and go through some of this admission requirements as generally as I can to give you an idea of what we look for in a student. So, secondary school students coming to us from South Asia, from any country, we always look for 5 grade 12 academic courses, okay? And so we always look at 5. We know that in some countries, they take 10, they might take 8 or 12, it doesn't matter, many different subjects, but we always calculate the top 5 highest scoring subjects in grade 12. The overall average that we are looking for is about a 60%. Okay, this only applies to students in the South Asian region of India, but 60% is what we're looking for, an overall average with no individual subject grade below 50%. And then first language, that just means the native language, the language that is that students take in high school. That should be a minimum of 55%. Some of our undergraduate degree programs require chemistry, sciences, or some sort of mathematics to be able to enroll into those programs. So for example, if you are interested in becoming a dietitian and you want to take our nutrition course, but in your grade 12, you never took any math or any science subjects like biology or chemistry, then of course you don't meet the requirements to come in. However, if you might have a math and then plus 4 other subjects, you could enroll in business or tourism. So depending on which undergraduate program, we look specifically at the subject requirements as well. Next, what about transfer students and what about master students? Okay, so let's address the first one. We do accept external transfer students. And so if you have come from a university that is a public university, or if it's not public, but it's private, but the private university is accredited or recognized, its curriculum is recognized by the Ministry of Education from where it's established, then we'll be able to accept the transfer credits for transfer. So we will assess courses that have already been completed at a post-secondary level. It doesn't matter, college or university, as long as it's a public or a private accredited institution, we will assess for transfer credits. The only other document that a student will have to submit is course descriptions. And this is basically an outline of each course and the objectives in which the courses have achieved. For our graduate students, so very generally, the overall GPA that we require is a 3.0, and that's an average of about a B or 80%. So the thing is about our graduate programs, every program with even every major has very different requirements and many different types of deadlines. And so, you know, if you have a student that is interested in a specific program or a couple of specific programs, please don't hesitate to reach out to me or my team. I'd be happy to give you the requirements for those programs. All right, moving along now to language requirements. Very simple, straightforward. It's right in front of you. Our bachelor's certificates, diplomas, the minimum that we require from an IELTS is a 6.5. For a master's, the minimum that we require is a 7. If students don't meet these requirements, that's totally fine. We do offer 2 levels of language at the highest level. So if the student has an IELTS of a 6, then they can take our university bridging program plus their first university course in their first semester. If they successfully complete the university bridging program and their first university course, they will be allowed to register for their full-time courses the next semester. And the same goes for our graduate preparatory program. This is only for our master's students. Master's students who have an IELTS of 6.5 will have to take the GPP plus their first university course. Okay, earlier, a couple of slides ago, when I was talking about admission requirements, I mentioned that we look at 5 grade 12 academic courses for the assessment. And so if a student is interested in business, for example, we will require a look at their 5 grade 12 academic courses. The first one being their language. And I don't mean IELTS, I mean the language that they take at the secondary school. And then also we look at their math and 3 other subjects. Now, for example, if a student does not have a math, but they have 4 other subjects plus their language, we will defer their application from the business program into a Bachelor of Arts General Studies. This is a temporary placement. And so, you know, for us at Mount St. Vincent University, we do not outrightly just refuse the student. We give them a chance to show that they can complete a math subject at the university level before we switch them into the program of their first program of choice. So if you have a student in this situation, they will be given a Bachelor of Arts General, an acceptance into a Bachelor of Arts General. And then what happens is that in their first year, they get to complete their normal business courses, but they must take our statistics and mathematics prep course. If they complete that successfully in the second semester, it's super easy to switch them back into their first program of choice. And so I've outlined some of the information here. So if students have met our average requirements for entry, but they don't have some of the grade 12 subjects, we will put them into this just a temporary placeholder until they can meet our complete requirements. Okay, moving along to some financial information. The financial information I'm going to cover here today are mostly for undergraduate students because that is the most general and the one that I can talk to and encompasses the majority of the scholarships that we offer. For information on other scholarships that we offer, and this, as again I said, this only pertains to undergraduate scholarships, you can go to msvu.ca/scholarships. So starting from our most general scholarship, this is only for secondary school students or high school students. High school students who apply to Mount St. Vincent University before March 1st and complete their entire application before March 1st are automatically assessed for what we call the entrance scholarship. The application and the assessment are automatic, like I said, as long as the student applies before March 1. What we do then is that we assess the grades, and if the student has about an 80% average or higher, we automatically give them an entrance scholarship. And the entrance scholarship is on a range. So it ranges from 2,800 Canadian dollars to about 32,000 Canadian dollars, and this is for their entire 4-year degree. The second scholarship that we offer our superstar secondary school students is the Presidential Scholarship. And this is a scholarship that is highly coveted because we offer this to students on average. This year we offered it to 6 students only, but usually we have a capacity of 10, and it's open to all Canadians or all international students. And if they do get it, we pay for everything. So books, residence, meals, tuition, miscellaneous fees, etc., etc. So if a student gets a presidential, they will have their entire 4-year degree paid for. Then we have the Leadership Award. The Leadership Award is a form of scholarship. It's not actual scholarship because what we do is we deduct the price of residence. So it's free for the first year for the student who wins this award. So the 3 that I've outlined above, entrance scholarships, presidential, and leadership, these are the most popular amongst high school students. If a student doesn't get a scholarship during the entry of their first year into the university, that's okay too, because we offer scholarships once a student enrolls. After they complete their first year with us and they can show us that they have a GPA of about a 3.5 or a 3.7 or higher, they are automatically given a partial scholarship as well. And those are called in-course scholarships. So that was based on academic merit. And so now we have bursaries, which are based on financial need. We run many different bursary programs throughout the year, and especially now during the times of COVID that has hit all of us globally. We've even added a little bit more to our bursary offerings for students who might be in financial need because they have lost their part-time employment due to COVID, or they've had to move home. And so there are many different criteria that has affected our students. And so we've made more funding available through our bursary program for students through our Presidential Student Relief Fund. So those are some of the bursary programs that we offer. Some of the other ones that are really popular throughout the school year is our Student Works program. And this offers a student 12 hours per week of work within some of the internal departments at Mount St. Vincent University at $13 per hour. And so I'm very happy to say that we were able to continue our Student Works program for this year, even though we are primarily online. We will be hiring some students this year as well as part of this program, and hopefully give them the opportunity to be financially stable, but also gain some work experience as part of their degree. Okay, so how much does all of this cost for an international student? And you can see that we probably offer the most affordable tuition pricing for a bachelor's degree in Canada. And I can attest to saying that we probably have the lowest tuition fees in Nova Scotia. And so what you can see in front of you is the amount that a student would pay for 1 year. At the undergraduate level, it's about 16,000, and at the graduate level, the master's, it's about 18,000 Canadian dollars per year. For residences, the amount can be between $9,500 to about $11,000. This highly depends on what meal plan you want. This highly depends on which residence room you want. Of course, the rooms that are bigger or more modern are at the higher end, and the rooms that are a little bit more traditional, mixed with a more traditional meal plan, would be at the lower end. International health insurance is mandatory for all international students. This is because in Canada, healthcare is subsidized by the government for Canadians or for people who pay taxes as part of their livelihood here. And so for an international student who has never paid taxes in Canada, and who are new to the country, they have to pay a $654 emergency health insurance fee. Now, this fee covers everything that has to do with an emergency. If a student is experiencing pain of some kind, or they have broken a limb or like an arm, we can fly their parents in to help take care of them, to see them. It will cover some of the hospital fees as well, if necessary. So this is in case of emergencies, and it is highly mandatory for the whole year. So $654 for the whole year. Last but not least, this is one thing I am super proud of, but I also feel that it is Canada's, best kept secret. We offer a sibling discount as part of our financial program. And so here's how it works. And it applies to Canadians and international students. So it doesn't matter, as long as the students who enroll at Mount St. Vincent University are siblings. So here's how that works. Whether it's 2, 3, 4 siblings, all 4 or all 2 of them must attend Mount St. Vincent University at the same time. Also, the 2 siblings must be enrolled in their first post-secondary degree. So, I go to Mount St. Vincent University in my first year. And then in my second year, my sister decides to join me, okay? And so the both of us have to be enrolled together, and we both have to be pursuing our first bachelor's degree at the same time. I will pay the full amount, $16,340 per year, and my sister will pay half, 50%, about $8,200. Okay, so that's how the sibling discount works. We have this because we feel that gaining an education for the betterment of your life is a right for everyone. And so we don't want to financially burden one family just to send all of their children to university. And so that's why we've implemented the sibling discount. Okay, last but not least, how does a student apply? I'm not talking about graduate programs or master degree programs here, because that is a little bit more complicated. And again, every master's degree program has its own requirements, has its own deadlines, and has its own supplementary documentation. I'm only going to cover the very general bachelor degree application process right now. Super simple. There's only 3 steps. 1, the student applies online. I would encourage the student to also pay the fee upon submitting the online application as soon as possible. The reason is because if a student applies online in our system and they don't pay the fee immediately, they have to wait 1 or 2 days before they can pay the fee. That's because the student needs their unique MSVU 7-digit student ID number to pay. If they don't have that number yet, they have to wait to pay. But if they do it online and pay immediately, it will all be matched up together. After completing the first and second step, documents will then need to be submitted. So for high school students, of course, we're looking for their midterms, right? Their midterm transcripts, and then a proof of language proficiency. That's it. And so after we receive all of these 3 steps, the student just sits back and relax And an admissions assessment will come to the student in 5 to 10 business days by way of email. So it's just an email notification. It's a notification to let the student know, hey, you've been conditionally accepted based on your midterm, high school, or your IELTS scores. Once the student gets this email notification, and if they want to accept the admission offer, they have to pay a deposit. After receiving the deposit, we will then release the official letter of acceptance for study permit application purposes. So it's pretty simple. However, if you have any questions regarding the application process, please let me know in the Q&A section. I'm happy to answer your questions. And last but not least, this is the contact information of myself and my team. And of course, if you want to check out the beautiful pictures of campus that I was talking about from the beginning of the presentation, check out our Instagram or Facebook. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you so much for the informative session. Now it's time to take questions from our educational partners. So our partners want to know what is the process for the agent agreement. If they want to enroll with us, if they want to recruit students to MSVU, what is the process?
So if you're interested in becoming an official representative, I would encourage you to reach out to my team at MSM. So you can reach out to Chitra or Grishma at india@msvu.ca or india3@msvu.ca, and they can walk you through that process.
So other question coming in is, website shows the Bachelor's of Computer Science as one of the program. So they want to know, is it available?
So on the website, it does say that we offer computer sciences, but we only offer them as courses. Unfortunately, our computer science and information technology programs are no longer. And so we are still able to offer some courses to our students, but they cannot graduate with a degree in that area.
So what is the turnaround time for the offer letters?
For an undergraduate degree, you will hear back probably in 5 to 10 business days after we receive your full application. And again, for master's degrees, it really depends. It depends on the program, it depends on the deadline, and it depends on how timely a student completes their application. So sometimes it can take as long as maybe two months for a master's degree.
Okay. Also, they want to know that, is there any quarantine support from university?
So last week and starting in middle of August, we have been ramping up and increasing extra support and programming to all of our international students. And so we are discouraging students from traveling to Canada at this time due to border restrictions. However, there are some students who have traveled already from within Canada to come to us. For students in this instance, we have partnered up with other universities around Halifax to receive a more subsidized pricing in accommodations. Students are expected to pay for their own quarantine. However, we do have a very tight and very secure quarantine plan for any student that wants to start their university study here with us in Canada. The quarantine period has been over, obviously, but we started this process in middle of August, and now students are fine. And the Public Health Department of Nova Scotia has been in contact with us almost every week to check on the students. So it's a very tight plan.
So is the university providing support letter to travel to Canada to the international students?
So like I said, unfortunately, when a student approaches us and asks that they want to travel to Canada, I always ask why. Because all of our classes are now online, and it is a risky endeavor to come to Canada at this time because of not only Corona and travel, but also we cannot guarantee that Canada will let you in when they come to the border. We've known of some instances where international travelers have been turned away, and so we ensure that we arm our students with all this information before they even make their travel plans.
Okay. And also, how about the refund policy in case of refusal after AIB?
So as we all know, the Canadian government has been super great in adapting to COVID-19. And to receive a Canadian study permit now, the process is twofold. You get the AIP, the approval in principle, which is the first step approval process. And then the student has to wait until the second step approval process to receive their official study permit. During the time where a student has an approval in principle, the first step, AIP, the student is allowed by the Canadian government to study and to begin their studies online. If for any circumstance the student is refused at the second step of approval, unfortunately, the student will not be refunded the tuition that has already been paid. So for example, right now, we are in the second week of online classes. The deadline to register for classes for this semester and the deadline to pay for the tuition fees for this semester is Wednesday. If a student decides by tomorrow that they do not want to continue their online classes, they will get a refund. However, if a student decides in November that they don't want to continue, they will obviously not get a refund.
Okay. Uh, and they also want to know about if there are any scholarships or bursaries if students are, coming in January or May intake.
So for January and so for May, let me just start with the summer intake. There are not that many students that do take our summer courses. There are very, very few. I would say only about 15% of our population does that. And so we do not offer any scholarship programming in the summer, which is May, June, July, and August. For January, it's also possible they have access to in-course scholarships or transfer student scholarships. Students who have deferred their start from this semester to January and have been offered a scholarship will also be able to continue using their scholarship.
Perfect. Then again, we have questions like, what is the level of mathematics that student is, entering with BA in General Studies?
So if a student has been deferred into a BA General Studies, it's because they did not take a grade 12 mathematics course. So usually, of course, for instance, our bachelor's degree in child and youth studies does not require a student to complete grade 12 mathematics, but they have at least completed grade 11 mathematics.
Yeah. There is one question related to sibling discount, that if first sibling joins masters and second sibling is joining in bachelor's degree, the sibling discount will still be there.
Can you repeat that question, Grishma? Sorry, you broke up there.
If the first sibling is enrolled in master's degree and another one is coming for the bachelor's degree, so the sibling discount will still be eligible.
Unfortunately, no. We do not implement sibling discounts for master's degrees, only a student's first bachelor degree. If a student is coming in and taking their second bachelor degree and their sister is taking their first, that doesn't apply as well. It has to be their first.
Okay, perfect. So again, Ashley, if you can let us know something about international student support and how university is supporting student in this pandemic.
So since the start of the pandemic here in Canada, of course, it reached us a little bit later, as it would have reached India a little bit later as well. So since March, we have shifted all of our winter courses online as soon as possible to ensure the safety of our community. In May, we made the decision as well to shift all of our learning online for September to December as well, just to ensure that students are not exposed and not in groups so that we can contain the spread of COVID-19. But because of everything moving online, there's a lot of extra support that needs to be provided. So our international student team plus our student services team have come up with half a dozen, at least 6 different programs to ensure that students are supported throughout this time. So not only just first year students, but second year, third year, and final year. I'll give you another example. I am part of a new program called the Personal Advisors Program, and I have been given a select number of first-year students to take care of, okay? So I have a list of 60 Canadian students that I have to support throughout this entire academic year, and they have questions about books. They have questions about the learning styles in an online classroom, and so my job is to help support them. Our international team has been running webinars every Friday to orient international students to new concepts like AIP, approval in principle, online learning, what to expect, what is asynchronous versus synchronous. So we've been doing everything we can to try and support our students.
Another query is regarding our professional study program, that is Bachelor's of Science in Applied Human Nutrition. So as this program is accredited, so student are required to sit for license exam after completion of this program?
Of nutrition?
Yeah.
Yes. So the dietetics industry in Canada is regulated. It's regulated by a body called the Dietitians of Canada. To become a dietitian in Canada and to work, you have to complete several components of their requirements. So the first thing you need to do is enroll in a university that has been accredited and selected by the body, the regulating body. And so Mount St. Vincent University is one of those 16 in Canada. The student must then complete all of the course requirements that has been outlined, not only within the degree, but also by the regulating body. After completing all of the course requirements, students are also required to take a internship. And so this can come in the form in their third year, or it can be done after their final year, as long as they complete an internship within the field of nutrition and dietetics. After they complete the course requirements, after they complete the internship, and then they get their degree from the accredited university, they then must enroll as a member of Dietitians of Canada, take an exam, and then will they be successful in gaining their license. So there are many, many parts to becoming a dietitian.
Okay. So another question is regarding co-op, that our agents want to know that how much usually student get paid in co-op, and for how long MSVU is arranging co-op for their students.
So co-op is supported throughout. We have 3 co-op work terms that a student must successfully complete, and the co-op office supports the student from their first, second to their third co-op, and that involves everything from interview skills to resume writing, etc., etc. Even the job postings are put in the co-op office for students to view and select. And then, what was the second part of your question, Grishma? I forgot.
How much usually they get paid for co-ops?
Oh, yes, that's right. So it depends on the industry. It depends on where you do your co-op, of course. So on average, it will be about $11 per hour if you're in your first year. So you don't have that much experience yet. You only have 1 year of education. And then it goes all the way up to $20, maybe even $25. So in my experience, some of my classmates, they had to move to a different part of the country, and they worked for an oil and gas company. And so of course that would be a little bit more because they had to move. So the cost of that would encompass the salary as well.
Okay. Again, they want to know that employment rate of university programs.
Okay, so I really feel that at Mount St. Vincent University, we prepare students enough so that they can be self-sufficient and independent in learning how to find employment. And I really do believe that in Canada, it doesn't take only 1 year to understand the skills that are necessary or even how to find a job. And I feel that every year that a student is enrolled at the Mount, they get the skills and the learning that is required to become part of an employment setting. So, we tell them to be involved, we tell them to volunteer, we tell them to take part in all of our workshops. But not only that, they have to really just put themselves out there to really brand themselves within the employment setting. So, for example, our tourism and hospitality management program, I would say about 90% of our students are able to gain valuable employment 3 months after they graduate. And that's because they have so much experience in co-op already. So they already know what to do. And so, and you correlate that with tourism industry itself here in Halifax, which is abundant. It just makes for a really good match.
So as we came up with the new programs, they want to know that the PG certificates and diploma programs are available for international students too, right?
Yes, absolutely. They're open to international students.
Perfect. And I believe, let me check. Okay, so they want to know something about the career opportunities which are there back in Halifax.
Okay, so there are many different types. There's lots of business development opportunities and economic development opportunities. So students, not students, but like our graduates can work in these economic hubs that try and accelerate the economic progression of the city. We have a lot of small IT startup companies that require, accountants, or they require people to do marketing. We have a lot of ad agencies as well. Tourism is big, but so is education. As I told you earlier, there are so many universities in Halifax. All of these universities, of course, require people to do their HR, people to do research, people to do, marketing. And so all these sectors definitely offer employment opportunities.
Okay. So I guess that's all for the questions that we have from our partners, Ashley. So we just hope that the session was informative for all our partner agents. In case if you have any queries or if you missed anything, my team and I will definitely get back to you and sending all of the details post session. And you can definitely connect with us via calls and emails. To know more about upcoming sessions with MSM Live, do check MSM social media handles. Till then, take care, stay safe, and do take care of your loved ones. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today.